Okay, today I wanted to try explaining some of the ideas in this game I've been working on. To begin with, I'll just say that it's very much inspired by the work of Michael Burrow, which I will link to, but I'm going to try to explain it without assuming that you've played any of those games. I'll definitely have to re-record this once the game is further along, but I wanted to have something that I can point people to who are interested. So the game is a roguelike, sort of a traditional roguelike. You control a character on a grid. This is the character. By the way, all of the art is temporary. So you move around the grid, and there are various creatures in the world with different behaviors. These white lines are walls that block movement between two tiles. You can bump into creatures to attack them, but that's nothing new. All of the enemies have 2 hit points for now. So in traditional roguelikes, there's this notion of identification. You might pick up a potion, and at the time of picking it up, you don't know what it does. The way that it usually works is that once you've used an item of a particular kind, you then recognize all future items of that kind. So, for example, once you've used a potion of healing, your character is able to recognize all potions of healing. This game, on the other hand, is an exploration of what it might look like to have partial identification of items. So you may know some things about what an item does, but not all. These are the items, these green circuit boards. I haven't really worked out what the theme of the game is going to be yet. So at the time that you pick an item up by stepping on it, well, first it goes to your inventory, which is over here. In this case, it's gone to slot 7. When you pick it up, you know very little about what it does. There are a number of possible effects it can have, which are denoted by these various gray icons, and you can click on an icon to get a short description of what that effect is. I'm just noticing that the UI needs to be fixed here. For now, there are only 8 possible effects, which are these 8, but I expect there will be more in the future. Every item is going to have exactly 3 of these 8 possible effects, but you don't know which 3. To understand the process of learning which effects an item has, we have to understand something about the form of the effects in general, which is that every effect has an associated condition that it triggers in. For example, this bomb effect destroys walls under the condition that the player is standing next to the wall. In other words, the condition is that the player is standing next to a wall, and the effect is that the wall is destroyed. As another example, this sleep effect puts enemies to sleep under the condition that they're within distance 4 of the player. To use an item, you just press the number key of the item's place, which I'll do now as an example. So when you use an item, if it has an effect whose conditions are met, the effect is triggered. This creature is asleep now for the time being, and we can safely move past it without taking damage. Now, because we are standing next to a wall at the time we used the item, even though the item didn't have the bomb effect, which destroys walls, we did learn the fact that it doesn't have the bomb effect. And the game will remember that for us by marking the bomb icon red. So as you use the items in various conditions, you'll start to put together a picture of what effects the items do and don't have, which should inform your future decisions about what situations you might want to use the items in. The reason that I think this is such an interesting paradigm for a game is that every time you use an item, you're making a trade-off between taking advantage of the effects that you already know the item has and learning more information about the item so that you can use it better in the future. This means that you're always having to make these decisions that feel very interesting to me about what information you value and what information you don't value based on your character's current situation. That's all I want to say for today. Thanks for listening.